Like for example, expect చేశారా coming out to coming up conditional content just we have to use the standard operator. Fine. So today class, let me go for the React flow of execution. See, up to now we are executing like from now we are executing what? Directly the file is executing, that is fine, but we should know the flow of execution. Where is the execution starting point? How the flow is happens. Is all the flow of execution we will discuss this. Good. You see the folder structure, as you know that folder structure is what? One is the node modules folder. When you get the node modules folder, what is the node modules folder contains? All the installed dependencies, all the project dependencies, what we install. All the installed dependencies are goes to node modules folder. Public folder contains all the static files, guys, like images, icons, themes. Public folder contains what? All static files, like images, JSON files, themes. These all go for the public folder. SRC folder contains all the components. All the components. App.jsx, counter.jsx, data printing.jsx. These all are the JSX files. Fine. See, package.json, I told that, which contains all the dependencies information. And white.config.js. This is a white configuration file where we can change the port numbers and all. White.config.js. See guys, up to now we have the app.jsx, counter is there, counter.jsx is there, greeting.jsx is there, these all are there. And here app.jsx they given already. And we return what file here, counter.jsx and what greeting.jsx. When they given the files like this, but in the React, guys, the React, in the browser, what file is displayed in the browser? Index.html. Definitely index.html file displayed in the browser. This is the file. So this is what? File displayed in the browser. Okay, this is the file displayed in the browser, right? Good. Maybe how many guys remembered, I don't know, but when we discussed about, when we talk about JavaScript, I want to display some message in the browser. To display in what? In JavaScript. In JS, I want to display, tell me guys, I want to what? Display some, what you can say, message in browser. How you display the message in the browser? When you click on the button. When we click on what? Button. When we click on the button means what event is triggered? On click event is triggered. How the message is printed in the browser? How the message displayed in the browser? In JavaScript, I want to display some message in browser. Some message in what? Browser. When we click, how do you display the message? Huh? ID we need to get it. That's okay, fine. Before the ID, inner HTML. Okay. I want to display the data in the browser here. I told multiple times to display the data in the browser. First, you should take what? You should take the. Huh? We should take the empty tag. You should take what tag? Yeah, to display the data in the browser, guys, first you take the one empty tag with ID attribute. What attribute, ma'am? ID attribute. You take the ID attribute like, ID equals something like root, something like that. You take one empty tag. To this empty tag, I will send the data. Who send the data? JavaScript will send the data, right? To this what tag? Empty tag. To this empty tag, JavaScript will send the data, guys. JavaScript will send what? Data. So to display the data in the browser, you take the empty tag. You take what? Empty tag. That's what, guys. If you observe the same HTML code, the index.html file, index.html file does not contain any data. But one empty tag is there to display all the data. What is the empty tag? Can you see? What is empty tag? Div ID equal to what? Root. One empty div tag is there. To this empty div tag, the data is coming. To this what? Empty div tag, the data is what? Coming, right? Exactly. And this is called empty div tag, guys. Empty div tag. To this empty div tag, the data is coming. The data is coming. Got it? Sir, okay. Index.html file, there is no data. We maintain one empty tag. In that empty tag, the data is what? Placed. So the data is placed, everything is okay, but who placed the data here? Who will send the data to this place? Who will send the data to what? This place. See guys, in the browser, what file is displayed? Tell me, in the browser. In the browser, what file is displayed? In the browser, index.html file content is displayed, right? Index.what? HTML file content is displayed. So in browser, definitely what file is displayed? Index.html file. But index.html contains data, na empty tag. But index.html file, what I can say, does not contains the data. Just it is what? Just it is. It is what? It is having what? It is having empty div tag. Empty what tag, div tag. With ID is what the ID guys here? ID is the root. So these guys don't have the any data. We have the empty div tag with what? The root. That's the first point we should know. In browser, what file is displayed? In browser, index.html file content is displayed. But index.html file contains any data? No. Just it is having what? Empty div tag. The empty div tag ID is what? Root. After data display. That's fine. See, yes, we have the counter.jsx. Counter.jsx is included in app.jsx. And here we have the body. We need to link this all the dots. We have the counter, we have the app.jsx, we have the index.html file. We need to link this all the dots. To link this all the dots, guys, here. In the browser, what file is displaying here finally? Index.html. Contains any data, empty div tag. See guys, the React entry point. The React starts from the file, or the file like main.jsx. What's the React entry point? Main.jsx is the React entry point. React started React entry point is a main.jsx. There's a React, what you can say guys here? React entry point, not app.jsx. What JSX guys here? Main. React entry point is what file? Main.jsx. Main.jsx. You open that main.jsx guys, you please cross check what this guy is doing. This is called main.jsx code. You understand this is called main.jsx code. You check that code once. By seeing that lines, you get some idea what this guy is doing. I think this guy enables strict mode in JavaScript. You know the strict mode, right? To overcome the the problems of duplicate variables and all. What mode? Strict mode. And this line is including what file here? App.jsx. Is including what component? App.jsx. What he is doing, I think he is written the to display the data in the message in the paragraph in JavaScript, to display some message in what? Browser. When we click and take the empty tag with what attribute? ID attribute తీసుకున్నాం. Empty tag with what attribute? ID. How you display the data? That's what you're writing the document dot what? get element by ID, and we are giving what? Root dot something like inner HTML inner text. Hi, 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 welcome to JS, something like that. It's a process. What this main.jsx is doing, you check it. I think that this line is there in the document.getElement by ID is root, right? I think that is the element here. Document.getElement by ID. It means what the main.jsx is doing, main.jsx is getting the root. Main.jsx is what? Getting the root. Root is nothing but what? Index.html empty tag. Index.html is what tag? Empty tag. अरे स्कूल होनी सही पे वाला सही पे खुश and see this main.jsx, what it is doing, main.jsx. See, I have the index.html, I have the app.jsx. What the main.jsx will do, get the root ID, get what? Root ID. To this root ID, send the render the app component. Render what component? The app component. What is doing, tell me here? What the main.jsx is doing? Get the index.html root. Root is nothing but what? Empty div tag, right? So what tag? Empty div tag. This main.jsx getting the index.html file ID root and sending rendering what file to the root app.jsx. In app.jsx already we written the counter, so data printing is on the example, right? That's it. There's a flow. What the main.jsx will do? The main.jsx will read the, tell me the main.jsx what it will do. The main.jsx will read the main.jsx file will read the index.html file empty tag ID. Read the ID. That is nothing but what? Document.getElement by ID of what? Read the ID. That's all. The main.jsx will do. Main.jsx is responsible for two operations. Main.jsx file will read the index.html file empty tag ID. ID equal to what? Root. ID equal to what? But is root. At this cost, get the element by ID. Root. Our second part it will do here. The main.jsx render the it is rendering, right? What the function it is using? Render function. It is render the what component? It render the app component to render what? App component to it renders the app component to where? It renders the app component to what file? Index.html root index.html what? Empty tag. Empty what tag, right? Div ID equal to what? Root. That's it. Okay, that is our main.jsx will. But the React entry point? Main.jsx. React start the main.jsx. What the main.jsx will do? Read the index.html tag, empty tag ID attribute. Empty tag ID attribute is what? Root, right? Get that ID attribute root. Next one is what? Render the app component to the browser. That's all. We render the app component to what? It means in empty tag, empty div tag, right? What data is displayed? What data? App data. Because this is app data sending to what file? Yeah, root.jsx, right? Right, that's it. Yes. In the browser, what file is displayed? Index.html. But index.html file contains the data, no data now. No data. Contains for just empty tag. Empty tag is expecting some data. Then who will send the data? Main.jsx. React starting point is what? React starting point is the main.jsx. It is entering from the main.jsx. What the main.jsx will do? Read the HTML ID attribute. Read the HTML what? ID attribute. And read the HTML ID attribute and render the app component to the div tag. App component to what? Div tag. That's it. What the app component will do? What is the third point? What is the app component? This is called controller component, guys. Controller component. App.jsx is a controller component. App.what file? JSX file is what component? Controller component. See, guys, your logics are there in app.jsx, your own components are. You are writing some components, right? Vest.jsx, non-vest.jsx, r.jsx, card.jsx. Your logics are there in మీ లాజిక్స్ మీ components లో ఉంటాయి. Your logics are there in what? Your components. And you have the 5 components. I need to control. First is like veg item, second one is a non-veg, third one is the milk item, next one is I need to control your all items. Where we should control? App.jsx. App.jsx don't write the logic. App.jsx is controlling the UI. Controlling what? UI. App.jsx is a controller component. Will control all the user defined what? Components. That's what, guys. In function app, here we have the function app written like this. This is called function app and all. And there we can write the return statement. Here you can see this is called what? Veg items. What items? What is veg items? It means he's writing the logic for veg items, or just he's including veg items, including veg item. Veg items, and we can write the cart item, when the cart and what close the cart. Like that, guys. Next one we have the orders. Who is controlling all the user-defined components? App.jsx is a controlling one component, all components are. That is called controlling, right? That is like cart. Next one is what? We have the orders. We have what? Orders, right? Orders. And we have the contact. Contact us page, and here we write the contact space like this. Veg items are there, non-veg items are there. That is a file. Here we have the for the non-veg items and go for the non-veg items. It means what? It is controlling all the components. Which file is controlling all the components? App.jsx. App.jsx will control just. In browser, what file is displayed? Index.html file. But data is there, empty type. Empty type. What is the React entry point? App.jsx is the React. App.jsx is main.jsx. Main.jsx is React entry point. What the main.jsx will do? Read the HTML tag ID attribute. First, it is reading the ID attribute. Then it is rendering the app component to that ID attribute. Reading the data on what? The main.json will read the index.html file, empty tag, ID root attribute. What the second one it will do? It will do main.json will render the app component. You use the term like rendering. There is a method function is there, right? What the function here? Render function. What is rendering here? What component is rendering? App component. What the app component contains? Controlling all the components. Controlling what? All the components. That's it, guys. Fourth one is what comes? User-defined components. So user-defined components contains what? User-defined what? Components contains the all logics. That's all. All logic should be written in what? User-defined components. Hey, you don't write the logics in app.jsx. You don't write the logic in what? Main.jsx. Main.jsx is what? Entry point. App.jsx is what? Controller point. And all the logic should be there in what? User-defined components. So that you can create the veg item.what file? JSX. Veg items.what file? JSX. Non-veg items.what file? JSX, right? That's it. The extension should be .JSX. Next one is the card. Tell me card dot what? JSX. Next one is the address.JSX. The last one is the contact.jsx. That's it. Okay, that is called flow of execution. The React entry point is what? The React entry point. What the main.jsx will do? Read the index.html file. Read the index.html file ID attribute root. ID attribute is what? Root. Div tag ID attribute is a root. Read the data. After that, render the app component to the root. What the app.jsx contains? Controller. It will control one component, all components. All components. But the user defined contains what? Where the logics are written? B logic, so B components class. All the logic should be written in what? User defined components. User defined components contains all the logics. Okay, that is called flow of execution. That's what here we got the all the points here. And you see this one guys here. This is a white configuration file, package.json file, index.html file, main.jsx is the entry point, and app.jsx is what controller. The counter.jsx and data printing is what user defined components. Public folder contains what files? Static files. Mode modules contains all the installed dependencies. All what? Installed dependencies, right? Wait, that's it, guys. That is the information we have. That's React flow. React flow. What's the entry point in the React? Main dot? Yes. Main dot JSX. Hey, don't write too much CSS code, guys, because if you write the more CSS, React functionality will come. You first focus on the complete React. Then later we can add what the CSS code. But if you write the more CSS code, then what happened here? The lengthy code, like the complete code showing like CSS code. That's what, don't write the much CSS. The basic CSS, if you want, you can write. Basic CSS, if you want, you can write. I will tell you how to write the basic CSS. It's like data printing here. When you write the data printing, this is a data printing.jsx file. You go for the return statement here. In the return statement, you print the data. So here, this is like H1 tag. Let me write the inline styles. Write the style attribute. Write what attribute? Style. Style attribute, you can write the double braces syntax. What syntax? Double braces. Double braces, just you can write the color. Color colon is what? Something like color colon red. Color colon what? Red. Then you got the faculty name like this. Let me run this code like npm how to run the project here. npm run and what? Yeah. npm run dev. Just we have the 5173. Hey, here you are copying the URL and pasting the URL, right? You do one thing. Here you type the O. So the character O. Click on what? Enter. Click on the enter. If you type the O, then we got the message like this. Now the faculty name is coming is what color? Red color. Don't write the multiple CSS. Basic CSS you can add no problem. Color colon is red. Let me go for the background. Background is like that you can have the green. Background is what? Green. Yeah. Now you got some background is green, right? Good. See guys, like this is called inline CSS. What we see as is inline CSS. And this is the way how to write inline CSS. You write some basic styles like inline CSS using what attribute here? Style. Using one brace or two braces. Is like what inline styles. Point one. Hey, no sir, I don't want to write the styles like this. I want to write the separate file. You want to write what? Separate file. No problem. Every separate file is in real time what happened. App.jsx file, if you observe carefully, app.jsx is the corresponding app.css file is there. App.jsx contains what? App.css. Main.jsx contains any main.css is there? No, because that is the entry point, right? That's what they did not given here. Fine. That's what guys go for the, this is called the data printing up. This example is here, data printing. Yeah, this is a data printing example, right? The data printing, the JSX is there. That's what guys. See, ves.jsx. Then you write the ves.css. All the ves related CSS you can write in one file. Non-ves.jsx means what? Non-ves.css. One JSX file, you maintain one CSS file, you write the corresponding CSS code. Write the corresponding what? CSS code. Now let me write the new file. Then you can write the data printing.jsx, right? Then you can write what? Data printing. Data printing not what? CSS. JSX ko CSS right? This is standard. Data printing the CSS. Then here you can write the H1 tag as open. I'm writing the something like element selector. What selector here? Element selector. Element selector, like just you can write the color, and we can write the color is what? Something like blue, and we can write the red color. Next we can write what? Background color. Background color is what? Aqua, something like that. I'm writing one class name guys here. Just you can write what? My class. And I'm going to write the my class. My class, I'm writing the color is like, aqua. Color is what? Aqua. Background color is like, yeah, you write the background color. Background color is what? Blue, something like that. Different colors I did. So one is the element selector I did, one is the class selector I did. Go for the data printing not file guys. Here let me write the H1 tag. H1 tag already what selector is applied? Element selector is applied. If you want, you can check the element selector, data printing.css. Element selector, you're writing what background color is the purple, something like that. You check the output, guys. You check what output. The data is coming or not coming? Not coming. Because we need, this is a CSS file, right? We are writing the CSS. Here, that is like H1 tag here. We have it like this. That is like H1 tag here. This is for H1 tag. Hey, this is what file here? Data printing.css. Data printing.css we written like data printing.what CSS. We should include the CSS in what file? The JSX file, right? Yeah, you import that file, CSS file, guys. To write the import statement of CSS file here, just you can write what statement import import dot slash what CSS you want data printing. What details was your data printing, right? So data printing, printing PRINTING, data printing not what about CSS. That's it. Just you can write the import statement like this. What statement? But is import statement. Otherwise, you see guys, wrap.jsx. Yeah. So this one here, import what dot slash what the file here index.css. Something like that, you can write the app.js like data printing. Import what the CSS file you should import. What the file we should import CSS file. Data printing CSS file guys. I think P is a capital letter. You can write what data printing.css. Now we can open the file. You can check it. Now we got the background color is what aqua. Some purple is coming right. That is called the data here. If you write the small letter, I think it won't be O. Just you can refresh. Okay, smaller capital file. Yeah, data printing not what file now CSS. Okay, if you remove this import statement, then CSS is not up. We write the import statement of that CSS file. That is called import statement. Importing data printing dot what CSS. Every component you write one, because every component you write what one CSS file or CSS file. That is called what internal CSS, external CSS. External CSS file, you write the separate CSS file. Every component should have one CSS file. Then you can import that CSS file into the data printing.jsx, right? So no, good. Now I want to apply the, here we written the data printing.css. I think we written the class. Control 0, the initial control. And here we can go for the, I need to apply the class selector. Definitely you are not writing this all the classes. You are asking ChatGPT place in the code, right? Just I'm showing that you ask the ChatGPT CSS code, you create the separate file page.what CSS, and you check the class names how to apply. That's all. How to apply what class names. Here this one is the my class I want to apply guys. Data printing.jsx file is there. Assume that for this paragraph, employee data paragraph is there. What paragraph? Employee data. For this paragraph, I want to apply the class. But in the normal CSS, we are applying using what attribute of class attribute, right? But in the React, we can go for the class name attribute. The attribute name, class name. Oi, what are you doing? CSS code, ChatGPT. We should know how to apply the CSS to our files. How to apply the CSS to our files. That's it. Okay, then you can go for the class name. Yeah, this is the class name, guys. Here you can go for the class name. But the class name you written, guys, here, my class. First you can write the my CLASS class. That's it, guys. Then you can go and check the data here. Then that is applied blue outline. Previously, you're writing in the normal code, you're writing what tag class attribute. But in React, class attribute or class name attribute. Class name attribute. When you take the class name attribute, guys, the class name starts with the attribute name starts with lowercase c, and this n should be capital. If you write a small name, you please cross check the data is not coming. The data is coming or not coming? Not coming. Should be n is what should be capital. Then this is the way how to apply the class. How to apply what class. Hey, that is called CSS style. This is called what? Inline style. Next one is what? Inline styles. The second one is what? External styles. External styles, how to write? Tell me here. One component. Tell me one component better to create. One component what? Better to create the one CSS file. One component you better to create one CSS file. Then what we can say? Well, write one component, one CSS file. For example, you written the wes.css file or the wes.jsx. And the CSS file, just you can write whatever the data you want, and h1 element selector, class selector like this. And this is like CSS code for that. What does CSS code goes here? wes.css. ఏం కాదు సార్ కానీ మీరు కానీ మళ్ళీ లెగసీ మళ్ళీ అంత కష్టపడద్దు ఏం కాదు కానివ్వండి. Displaying the ID tag root attribute where we are writing the logic. To understand this all, presence of mind required. ఏం కావాలా ఇప్పుడు అది రావాలంటే కానీ మళ్ళీ నిద్రలేసి అయ్యింది పెద్ద style attribute you take what? One brace or two braces are? External style means what? One component better to create the one CSS file. This is called wes.css file, and you write some tags like this. Go for the component is what among wes.jsx file. Wes.jsx file, tell me guys, wes.jsx file is what? Import what file here? CSS file. Import CSS file. How to import that is import dot slash dot is the current working directory slash what the file here? Wes.css. After importing, then we have the data like h1 tag, right? What tag that is? H1 tag. Just opening and H1 tag. Today class is what? Today class completed. Close what tag? H1 tag. Now see, I have some paragraph. To become a developer, like to become what? To become a developer, what required? Presence of mind required. Patience required. Next one is what? Patience required. Presence of mind required. Presence of mind. A presence of mind in the sense like common sense. Common sense is very important for the developer. That is like database. Hey, but this one I want to apply the class attribute. Tell me how to apply the class attribute here. Just you can write what? Class equal to. Then you write what? My class. That's it. Class name. Yeah. Apply the class attribute like using attribute name is what? Class name attribute. Attribute name class name attribute. Hey, like that. Don't write much CSS, but if you want to make your styles proper, then you can make it as a internal style. Inline CSS are directly using style attribute you can write. Inline CSS means what? Directly using style attribute. External CSS means write separate file like wes.css. You write the classes, you write the element selector, you write the ID selector, whatever it may be. You write all the selector. You apply the class selector. See, most frequently you're writing what selector ma? Class name selector. What selector ma? Class name selector. You write the most frequently class name selector, and you apply the class name using the attribute is what? Class name attribute is ma? Class name. That's it. That is React flow. React is what a flow. That's it. Yes, that is enough. Good, good, good. Yeah, that is one point, guys. And okay, that's all, guys. That's all for the day. Let me go for this is the final project. This is what? Final project. Hey, you do one thing. Let me open the recent. One more app type you created in my app. And I have one more time app. Hey, one more time app you created CRA project or white project. Fine. Then you can write the how to run the project is here. npm run dev. Yeah, npm run dev is there. Good. Okay, see this one point here. Yeah, you got this one, right? Starting project. No? Good. Hey, here we have the edit the what file here? App.jsx and save to test what amount. Hey, HMR is like hot module replacement type. Hot module replacement, which is like replacing your old content with new content. They will provide some libraries internally to work with what? Hot module replacement. Hot module replacement, yeah, HMR is nothing but a hot module replacement, which is like what? Updating the UI proper. Updating what? UI proper. See, he's saying that edit this file and save. Edit that file and save to see the new output, right? To see what? Yeah. New output means what? Old output should be replaced with what? New output, right? That is called HMR. You're saying that edit what file? App.jsx edit saved and save it to test new UI. To test what? It means what? Old UI is replaced with what? The new UI, right? That is called hot module replacement. Replacement says what? Old UI is replaced with what? New UI. With the name itself, the edit what file? App.jsx and save to test what? HMR. To test what? HMR, right? That is not supported by the old version. But the old version is CRA project. That is not supported by what project? CRA. HMR is supported by only white project. But the HMR full form? Hot module replacement. Replacement, something like that, right? Good. It is supported by what? HMR supported by the way he is saying that edit the file, save the file, and what? Test. Test is what? Seeing the new output. It means old output should be replaced with the old output should be replaced with the new output. That is called what? Hot module replacement. This HMR hot module replacement supported by only what I can say here? Only only white project. Not that's it. A flow is clear. The React entry point is what? Main.jsx. What the main.jsx will do? In the browser, what file is it displayed? In the browser, index.html file is displayed. Data is there, empty tag is there. Because dynamically the data should come. Empty tag means what? Dynamically the data should come. This is called dynamically the data should come. Like this one here. Go for the main.jsx. In main.jsx, what it will do? What the main.jsx will do? Read the empty tag ID attribute group and render the app component to the V. Render the app component to the HTML. That's it. What the app component contains? Controller, which controlling all user-defined components. Which control what? All user-defined components. And we completed where the logics you written? User-defined components. Because logics always written in using what? User-defined. We complete Babel, right? Babel. What the Babel will do? We written JSX, but browser can understand what? JavaScript. Then JSX will be translated to what? That is called Babel. What is reconciliation? Identifying the changes and send the changes to the real DOM. That is called what? Reconciliation. What is the diffing? Comparing the old virtual DOM with the comparing the old virtual DOM with the new virtual DOM, identifying what? Identification of changes is called diffing. Identify the changing and sending the result to the real DOM, that is called what? Reconciliation. What is scaffolding? Scaffolding is generating the folder sequence files is called scaffolding process. React side, how many virtual DOMs are there? Browser side? Browser side virtual DOM, yeah. React side virtual DOM is there, lightweight, light copy of real DOM. React side, how many virtual DOMs we have? 2. Browser side, real DOM. Browser side what? I told BOM, right? What's the BOM full form? Browser object model. But the BOM says that browser related features. Browser related features are converted into the tree of object. HTML tree of object is called what? DOM. HTML documented tree of objects are called what? HTML document tree of object is called DOM. Browser features tree of objects is called what? BOM. Browser features means what? Consoles, network, and history, element, source, local storages, all browser related features. Browser related features, one tree of object generated, that is called BOM. Browser object model. Browser object. Use state hook we done, right? Use state hook is used to maintain the data. How many ways you can do conditional rendering? 2 ways. One is the ternary operator, you can write for the true and false. Second one is what? And operator. For the React fragments. To group the multiple elements into the single. Why we are grouping? Because we need to return only how many elements? Single element. But when we have the multiple elements, what we should do? We need to group that multiple elements into what? Single. How many ways you can group the multiple elements into single? 2 ways. One is we can group using div tag, and second one is what? React. One is the React fragment. React fragment is just what the advantage of React fragment grouping is good. Div tag is grouping is good. Why React fragment grouping is good? It does not add the extra node to the DOM. It's nice. That's it. I told Axios, right? What Axios will do? Axios. What Axios will do? The front end React will connect with what? Back end. The front end React connect to what? Back end. REST APIs. Axios. I told props, right? What the props will do? Passing the data from one component to another component. React is a declarative programming base. React is what programming? Declarative. React is the declarative programming. What the meaning of declarative programming means? See guys, you are writing something like for loops, while loops. These all are like step by step process you are saying, right? To complete the task, we tell what? Tell how to do the work step by step process. This is called programmatic approach. Programmatic approach means you must tell how to do the process. Tell me guys, how to do the process step by step. You write the for loop, you write the while loop, and you write if conditions and all. A declarative approach means what? Don't tell the step by step process. Don't tell what? Step by step process. Declarative approach means just tell what to do. Just to tell what? Just to tell what to do. What to do, something like that. You tell what to do. How to do, they will take care internal. They will take care about what? That is called declarative programming. React is what? Programmatic approach or declarative approach? Just you tell what to do. How it will be, see, previously you converted array into list of items, right? Generally, you should write the for each loop and you should write the multiple. But are you writing any for each loop, so just we are telling what to do. What to do. Just telling what to do, nothing but what to know. Programmatic, declarative approach. Programmatic approach means step by step process. Every step we need to tell. That is called programmatic. Hey, we have the concept like we are using React JS. We are using what? React JS. A React JS like use it to build the what application is your web application. And which is run by browser. Browser run అవుతుంది. React JS. You have the Flipkart, Amazon, these are. Flipkart, Amazon, these are what? React JS. Used to build what application is your web application. Run by browsers. Run by browsers. But you see in your mobile we have the apps, right? We have what? Apps. For schooling, school they'll provide one app like Nazar International School and HYD, Hyderabad Public School. They're giving some apps, right? Mobile application. See guys, to build the mobile application, React is not good. React are important. We need to have app installed in the mobile. In the mobile, we need to install one apps. Mobile apps, guys, React is providing another library. Exactly same as React only, but extra some more features are added. Some syntax are changed. Mobile apps, guys, they build what? React JS to build what applications? Sorry, web applications. Mobile applications they build using like React Native. React what? React Native. Some companies they're saying we have the opening on React Native. Some companies they're saying we have the opening on React JS. React JS means the application is built using what? Web application run by browsers. And laptop lo browser open చేసి access చేయాలి. React JS. No sir, they want to build the mobile app. They are building what application? Mobile application. Mobile and then you can go for what? React Native now. React Native purpose is what? To build the what applications? Mobile applications. That is called React JS versus React Native. React JS versus React Native. Someone said we have the opening on React Native means you are not eligible because you are the React JS people. You are building web applications, not like mobile applications. Previously, mobile application building we have the Android iOS, but now companies all are using React Native applications because React is providing all the declarative manner like predefined support. Predefined support. Hey, that's it, guys. We done the flow of execution. You know how to apply the styles. Today you write some code and apply the styles. Styles apply to one example. Apply the styles. How to apply the styles? Inline styles you can write and external styles you can write. But when you write the external styles, make sure that one component better to create the one CSS file. So wedge.jsx component contains the widget.jsx component contains the CSS file is what? Widget.css file. Component of file creates better. We need to import that. What is the HMR hot module replacement? Supported by only white person. Supported by only 1%. That's it. Where we should write the logic? The logics are written in app.jsx or main.jsx. Logics are written in what component? User defined. Which component is controlling the components? What is the React entry point? And all user defined components controlled by app.jsx. App.jsx is controlled by the main.jsx. React starting point is what? That's all. Okay, see guys, today after 2 o'clock, after lunch, in the React, I'll update the 4 quizzes. How many quizzes? Before the class, tomorrow before the class, you finish the 4 quizzes. How many quizzes? 4 quizzes. And every quiz you should get the 20 out of 20. 20 out of 20. Assume that you got the 17 means you retake the quiz. One time if you got the 20 out of 20, not good. If you read it 2 times now, you get the clarity about what the points are going. I'm not saying like First time, if you write, you'll read all the questions, so you'll get some idea. 18, 19 you got. Again, you read, you get some more idea. So that's what you write 1 or 2 times until you get what 20. First time you got to 20, okay, no problem. But make sure that how many quizzes you should write? 4 or 5, 4 quizzes time. Maybe the whole test. 4 quizzes, right? You don't start now because now you have the old data is there. Because I modified, finalized it. Now we have already quizzes 6 are there, but there is old data, 8 old data. I modified as per your things. As a final version. You write how many quizzes total? 4. Every quiz should get what? 20 out of 1. If you read the notes, that's all.